Thanks for inviting us in at 6 o'clock. Tonight, we want to start with new information about that deadly officer-involved shooting at a business park here in Indianapolis. Just 24 hours ago, police responded to a chaotic scene near Brookville Road and Shadeland Avenue, and that's where police discovered a car crash, a man with a machete, and 2 people hurt. Our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick tonight explains how it all was connected.
Well, police were first called here to this business park for a report of a crash. You can see pieces of the car and tire marks still here in the grass. But when officers arrived, they also found a man with a machete and 2 people hurt. Now investigators believe all 3 of them knew each other. On Wednesday, police swarming this parking lot as employees peered through their windows.
We just seen, 30 cop cars, and it was like, oh my gosh.
Many left wondering what happened.
Well, absolutely, that's terrifying because it's like, why?
What started as a crash
with a machete in a hand in a beer, and he's arguing with the other drivers.
Quickly switched to an attack.
What I can tell you is that our cops were put in a very tough situation in what I would characterize as an active attack here at this business park.
Investigators believe the suspect waited for a man and woman to leave work before ramming his car into theirs. That's when the woman got out and was allegedly stabbed. The man was also injured but ran for help. According to witnesses, the suspect then waited for police before allegedly lunging at them with the machete. That's when an officer pulled the trigger, killing the suspect.
A witness also told investigators that the suspect told him he was about to witness a suicide by cop.
Police say the suspect was a former employee at one of the businesses and knew the man and woman.
We believe the suspect and the female victim may have been in a relationship.
The 2 victims are expected to survive. Now, the officer that fired their gun is on administrative leave pending investigation, which is standard protocol. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
Right now, we're still waiting on the name of the man who was shot and killed by police yesterday. The coroner's office still trying to find his family this evening. Tomorrow, a jury will decide whether 2 IMPD officers are criminally responsible for the death of Herman Whitfield III. This afternoon, on the final day of testimony, high-profile expert witness doctors gave conflicting opinions on what killed Whitfield. Our Rich Nye's been covering this trial this week and joins us live tonight at 6 outside the courtroom. Rich?
Scott, officers Adam Ahmad and Stephen Sanchez are charged with involuntary manslaughter, reckless homicide, and battery in the death of Herman Whitfield III in April of 2022. Now, both officers have testified during this trial that they never heard Whitfield say, "I can't breathe," as they struggled to put handcuffs on him and he was down on the floor, chest down. Whitfield weighs about 289 pounds, and they say that they never pushed or held him down once he was handcuffed. Dr. Bill Smock from Louisville testified for the defense that Whitfield died from THC-induced cardiac arrhythmia. Now, Dr. Smock testified against Derek Chauvin in the trial for the murder of George Floyd. Smock says that Whitfield's enlarged heart was a ticking time bomb. He says the primary cause of Whitfield's death was a high level of THC in his system that sent him on a bad trip and caused his heart to suddenly stop during exertion because of his existing heart problems. Smock says nothing the officers did caused Whitfield's death. Now, in rebuttal, the prosecution presented Dr. Alon Steinberg from California. Dr. Steinberg testified in the trial of singer Michael Jackson's cardiologist, and Steinberg says that Whitfield died from prone restraint cardiac arrest. Dr. Steinberg said that Whitfield was sweating profusely, breathing hard, struggling with police. He got tased and was a very large man in the prone position with some degree of weight force pushed down on him while they were putting on the handcuffs, and that all that led to significantly reduced ventilation and circulation, and Whitfield's heart stopped. He says Whitfield's death had nothing to do with THC. So the jury will hear closing arguments first thing in the morning. There will be a camera in the courtroom for that, and we expect the jury to begin deliberations, Scott, by late Friday morning.
And we know your coverage will continue for us tomorrow. Thanks so much, Rich. Let's talk about the weather. You know it was cold and windy today, and it continues this evening here at 6 o'clock. Cold air sticking around after another sunny day for us. Rob's in for Angela tonight. So how is this evening going to be?
I think you're going to definitely see the winds ease up a bit.
Okay.
That's some good news, but it's still going to be cold. So a wind chill is still going to be down into the single digits for some locations. It's a cold night, but I've got some good news on the way. Don't worry, the warm up is on the way. Hey, look at this. We're 20 degrees currently. We've already started our descent into the teens for some locations. Columbus at 19 there, and I think everyone will make it there. But look at this. We are 20 to 25, almost 30 degrees colder at this hour than where we were yesterday at this time. And in order to change that air mass, you have to bring it in from the north and west. That's why the winds were so strong last night. And it's also making the wind chill feel extremely cold. It feels like 9 degrees right now in Indy and Muncie as well as Richmond. I expect these wind chills to stay in the single digits for the overnight. But look at this. As the temperatures drop into the teens, notice the wind speeds here. They're not quite as strong as each hour goes by. And I think that wind chill will become less of a factor as your temperatures tonight are expected to drop down between 10 and 15. But this is the coldest night of the entire 7-day forecast. I'll show you when the 50s will arrive coming up.
All right, we'll look forward to seeing that. Rob, thanks so much. Governor-elect Mike Braun released what he called his freedom and opportunity agenda this week, which touches on several priorities he wants to address. Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker tonight breaks it down for us. Emily?
Governor-elect Braun calls his agenda a comprehensive framework with strategic investments and targeted reforms. It touches on several areas, including education, workforce development, and public safety. Another issue, health care, specifically access to it in rural areas of the state.
Governor-elect Braun says he wants to expand rural health care through new incentives for rural health care facilities, enhancing coverage of telehealth, and improving access to care during pregnancy. Indiana's new governor says he wants to look at the entirety of Indiana's hospital system, which he calls non-competitive. He likens it to an unregulated utility. Braun didn't say whether he'd call for regulation changes, but indicated he'd lean on the hospital systems themselves to address the need for more health care opportunities in rural parts of the state.
I'd like to see the system itself without state government getting too heavy-handed in it, setting the context, creating the incentives. And I don't think you're going to get more rural facilities in the current dynamic because there are very few of them that have been able to expand beyond their local market. I'll look at what some of them, the few, have done to actually spread their coverage and see if we could incentivize or encourage more of that around the rest of the state, and then look at how the bigger systems might play into being supportive of it as well.
During the campaign and even now, Governor-elect Braun has emphasized his experience as a business owner and entrepreneur, saying that he wants to run the state like a business. When it comes to addressing the rising cost of Medicaid in Indiana, Braun says he wants to look at the underlying causes of what is driving that increase, saying the state might find ways to make the portion it controls more efficient. At the State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Well, health care is one of the top 3 issues Hoosiers want state leaders to address in the new year. That's according to the results of Ball State's annual Hoosier survey, which was released today. Tonight, our Dustin Grove is here with a closer look at it.
Yeah, let's get right to them. The top 3 issues are school safety, public safety in general, and then health care. Now let's break it down. Nearly 70% of people identified school safety as a very important priority that the governor and his administration should focus on next year. That's higher than any other issue. About the same number of people said the same for public safety in general. And then the other top issue of concern, as you see there, is health care. Now, a lot of you are saying you just can't afford it. You can't access health care. You can't understand the costs, the billing. Overall transparency was another concern. And the folks who conducted this study tell me what's interesting about all of this is that these 3 priorities are shared across the political spectrum for both Democrats and Republicans. The survey was done over 2 days last month involving 615 adults. Other issues they asked about include legalizing marijuana, the abortion debate, gun policy, and immigration. Those results tended to align more with party affiliation. So we'll certainly be looking to see what state lawmakers say about that and how they'll respond. As you just heard, we know Governor-elect Braun has talked about making health care a priority. Dustin Grove, 13 News.
And you can see how Hoosiers weighed in on all of those issues on WTHR.com. Still to come, major road work could cause headaches for you this weekend, where you'll want to prepare for delays. Rob?
Well, thankfully no weather-related headaches. We are waiting on a warm-up, but you're going to have to wait at least one more day as Friday's high temperature only gets to 30.